The Ondo state governorship election, that's in southwest Nigeria, is about a week away and preparations are already in top gear. No fewer than 17 political parties will take part in that election. YEMI ADETOYINBO is the APC Chieftain in the state. He's a legal practitioner and a member of the APC Publicity Committee and a former National Publicity Secretary of the ADP, and he joins us now to discuss the build-up to the October 10th polls. It's good to have you with us. Now, let's get straight to it. Ondo is next on the off-season elections. Taking a look at the three main political parties, how would you rate them in terms of strength?
Very well. It is very clear to situate the positions, the political strength, the structural strengths, and of course, the predestinations and profiles of the three main contenders. Even though we had 17 candidates of 17 political parties out of 18 parties jostling for the #1 seat in Ondo State. And let me start from the rear by rating the Deputy Governor of the state, Honorable Alfred Agbola Ajayi of the Zenith Labour Party, even though elected on the platform of the APC, alongside the incumbent governor, Arakunrin Oluwatimi Akeredolu of the APC. But then he decamped to the PDP, lost the primary to Ita Ojegede of the PDP, and eventually he pitched his tent with the Zenith Labour Party, which is being led by former governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko. Even though Agbola Ajayi is from Ondo South Central District, but you can see that apart from the fact that the former governor Mimiko's support for him, and perhaps is from the Ondo Council area, and some of the riverine community area who could be sympathetic to him, there is no structure for that party. Apart from the fact that that party was equally a kind of a creation from the erstwhile Labour Party, where the former governor won the first election in 2007 and re-elected in 2012. But the fact that apart from that, even though he had pocket of followers that followed him, those who are his inner, kitchen cabinet members, maybe he says he has paid the deputy press secretary or so. So apart from that, you could only have new people. They were looking for followership. They were creating followership. So because when the party is so new, it has no structure. The party only won one House of Assembly seat from the Ondo West Council area of Dr. Mimiko. So even in his own council area, that is Agbola Ajayi council area, and anywhere in the state, there was nothing like Zenith Labour Party. So we can see that he will be trailing the trio of the two established major political parties. So let me now move to the governorship candidate of the PDP. Iyitayo Olanyika Jegede, as senior advocate of Nigeria, who is a former Attorney General of the state. The fact that he was equally Attorney General, for 8 years under Olusegun Mimiko's administration between the Labour Party and the PDP, which was their latter years, the last, path of the government. But the fact remains that he's an Accra person and from Ondo Central District. The PDP ruled the state during Dr. Olusegun Agagu for about 6 years, 4 years, and the Furoro battle at the tribunal and the got in Benin that removed him eventually. So when Olusegun Mimiko took over, and the fact that Olusegun Mimiko, moved over after his first term, he won election in the Labour Party, and after the Labour Party second term, he moved to the PDP, and Ita Ojegede moved with him. So, but the fact remains that even though nobody could underscore the fact that the PDP is the second largest political party in the state now, even Nigeria, because you have the All Progressive Congress at the end of affairs of Nigeria with President Muhammadu Buhari, so superintending the ruling party. And of course, in Ondo State, Governor Oluwatimi Akeredolu of the APC, incumbent governor. But the fact that the PDP remains the second largest party in the state cannot be underestimated. So, Ita Ojegede has been going about his own campaign, then the PDP in the state as well, they equally had some, followership. But that, they have to contend with the performances of the incumbent governor, Oluwatimi Akeredolu, as an advocate of Nigeria, also a former Attorney General of the state, so who has been running the affairs of the state in close to 4 years now. So Ita Ojegede and the PDP, they have to do a lot. When you are talking about campaign and issues, not like I talk about the ZLP candidates, you should look at issues, what you can do, even though they have been brandishing that they can do this and that. But governance is about who is there. So when you tested power or somebody who is aspiring to run, so let me now move quickly. to the ambition and administration of Governor Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu, as Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the incumbent governor and chief executive of Ondo State, who has been at the saddle of affairs of the Sunshine State of Ondo in the last 4 years plus. The fact remains that Governor Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu is the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, the ruling party in Nigeria, and of course, the ruling party in Ondo State in the last 4 years. The fact remains that continuation of governance. This is a governor that he was the candidate of the Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, in the 2012 gubernatorial elections, which he contested against Governor Olusegun Mimiko then. And of course, he won the ticket of the APC again in 2016 at the primary, contested by nearly, the number is almost close to half of, of 50. But the fact remains that clinching the ticket then, the party was divided then. We have a lot of macabre dances and full of attacks and there. He won the election clean and clear, having 14 local government areas out of 18 council areas in the state. The same Eyita Ojegede of the PDP now contested with him and clinched 2 local governments, which is necessarily the former governor Olusegun Mimiko's Ondo East and Ondo West council areas. And of course, Chief Olushola Oke, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who was the candidate of the AD then, having defected from the APC to the AD, equally had 2 council areas. His own native Ilaje council area and Okitupa council area in the river area of the Ondo State. So Akeredolu won convincingly with over 244,000 votes. So you are looking about a situation whereby, and I think the other, Eyita Ojegede followed and Olushola Oke came in third. So in this election, the issue remained the fact that Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu won the ticket of the APC again for the 2nd time running. That is 3 tickets in a row. There must be something for him. So the fact that the governor had and polled virtually about over 3,000 delegates, the governor had over 2,000, delegates in his favor at the primary election. And Chief Olushola Oke, who came second, with 126 votes, and D.I.K. Kemeke, having 19 votes. So you can see what they are talking about. So the fact remains that 12 aspirants, 11 contested with the governor, so he was the 12th person. And out of these, aspirants of the APC, he clinched victory with that figure I've mentioned.
Indeed,
so, and all the 11 aspirants, which was different, they rallied around support for him.
Yeah.
So his performances so far, in all ramifications, defy calculations. You are talking about infrastructure.
Indeed, well, another election is upon us just a week away from now. Let's turn our attention now to INEC.
Saturday next week.
Yes, precisely. That's the 10th of October. Now, let's turn our attention to INEC, which is the umpire. You are quoted as saying that INEC has turned an appendage of APC. Now, going by what happened at the Edo elections, do you still share that thought?
Well, it is very clear to Nigerians, even to people across the world, that nobody could now describe INEC as an appendage of the APC. So the crystal ball was very clear and shown in Edo State, where the incumbent governor, Governor Obaseki, who was hitherto the governor and candidate of the APC when he won election in 2016, and returning back now as governor, chief candidate of the PDP, and having been re-elected. The fact remains that even though the President Muhammadu Buhari is of the APC, immediately after the election, he congratulated the winner, Governor Obaseki of the PDP now. And of course, he's a Yamo who came second, lost to him, congratulated that governor. So INEC demonstrated an unparalleled, unprecedented, level of organized election in Nigeria. So even with the use of the INEC a new server, the systemic arrangement whereby, the election results are posted and released immediately. Even you could have pockets of violence or people who will be, regarded as ballot box snatchers and ballot papers snatchers. So if even immediately the votes are casted, it is counted in the presence of voters, eligible voters in each polling unit. So the result of that unit is posted on the server immediately. It is released across the line, and everybody could be able to add on. So there will be no wuru-wuru or mago-mago anywhere. So those days we are prepared for that. So Ondo election has always been well known as very, very serious election. We are a very sophisticated state. Our people will not take nonsense. Wherever they are going, nobody could shut them. And you know, those closer to us, we have the same characteristics. So people are talking about patriotism. People are talking about incumbent governor has performed very well. So there's no fear in the APC. You know, said on Ala radio recently, on the October 1st anniversary day, he was saying that there's no fear that he's going to win because his performance is enough, his speaks for value for him. I was going to that the other time that you are talking about the flyover bridge in order. Infrastructural road construction, massive across the state has been taken care of. So you can see, even for the farmers to access, you know, the products to the townships and to the urban centers. Then we are talking about issue of health sector. The governor has developed further the Unimed in Ondo. There was the governor was saying that all the abandoned projects of previous administrations has been completed by him. He has started his own project. He has constructed and rebuilt over 700 public, you know, schools in the state, so we can be seen, and even painted them in the orange color, so of the previous administration. So this was the government that does not celebrate, you know, mediocre issues or a kind of personalized, you know, adventure. This was a government that equally has gone ahead to get the bitumen licensing process for Ondo State. And this was a government that has gotten approval of over 21 billion naira for the Ado-Akure dualization road in Ekiti State to link Akure, which has been unprecedented. And modular refinery of bitumen will start in Ondo State between now and December. So we can see this as well. So apart from the interchange, you know, flyover bridge, which has saved many millions of lives across that place. So it has been able to establish Ore, which is a mini center. The president said when he came to Ondo State all that time. So I was saying that this was a governor that has, you know, established the Linyin Industrial Hub in Ondo State, which is a partnership between Ondo State and the Chinese, you know, Linyin municipal government in China. Apart from that, there is also the Industrial Hub. So industrial activities are springing up in Ondo State. The governor is working on the Aromisi port that will link Lagos to Ondo State. So we are saying that the Edo election will be repeated in Ondo State in a way that voters are highly sophisticated there. They know their choices, and we know they will vote for the APC. Because as an incumbent governor who has done his bit very well, he has satisfied the young aspiration of the state. So we are talking about innumerable projects across the state. So there is no panic in the APC because Akeredolu remains the incumbent governor in the state, a performing governor, an action governor that has been labeled Mr. Talk and Do. Whatever he believes of, he does it as well. So Obaseki was campaigning there, I was watching on his projects. Projects were executed. If you have not done anything, the APC at the national level, the president, the difference between Edo and Ondo State was that Adams Oshomole, who was suspended and removed as national chairman of APC, was backing Ize Yamo, who was then the candidate of the PDP in the last election. So that just like a change of baton. But the macabre dance, the acrimonies in Edo, was not in Ondo State. All the 11 aspirants that contested against Akeredolu in the APC primary supported him. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, national leader of the APC, is clearly with him. So you are talking about the president himself. And apart from that, the national caretaker convention extraordinary law committee of the APC now, under Governor Maimala Bune of Yobe State, the former secretary of the party. So they are torn with Governor Arakunrin Oluwatoyin Akeredolu because of the fact that the party were very proud of him for what he has done in Ondo State in close to 4 years now. Because if he has not done anything, there will be nothing for the APC to showcase. And ordinarily, he would not have been returned with massive votes at the primary election. He would not have won the first gubernatorial election in his first term by massive 14 local government areas with over 244,000 votes. So we are talking about a governor who is very well on ground. As a former president of Nigerian Bar Association, we do very well. He's a member of the body, life member of the body of benchers. That is the highest policy making and the ruling body in the legal profession in the country. As a lawyer, I'm very proud of him. And the people of Ondo knows Akeredolu because he's a pragmatic person. He's a very honest person. When you listen to him canvassing issues, he said that, look, I don't have anything to fear. At the age of 64, going to 65. So if he clinches his second ticket term, he will be going to 69. So you will see somebody who pride the state above himself. He was talking about the interest of the people, the interest of the state. This was a governor who was on a tour of local government. And there was a federal medical center he wanted to commission on behalf of the president. And he was going along the line with the traditional law of the place, or by Israel Adeusi, the Olufon of Ifon. And he said the road was very bad. He just called his advisor on infrastructure, engineer Aminu Ramoni. He said, look, within a week, I want this road fixed. And it was fixed. He was at the Chacha market, the popular market of the Hausa community in Accra recently, even under COVID-19, on a visit there. He said, look, there's no township road, there's nothing is going on. He said, within a week, we don't even have money now. Allocation has not come, but I'm going to use my personal money to get this place done. And it was done. So he's a governor, come talk and do. Across the state, he has not left out any infrastructural deficit in the 3 central zones of the state. And development-wise has been spread across the 3 central districts. Dualization has covered all major towns in the 3 central districts. So across the Riverina area, he has gone ahead with the Ugbo community, Ugbo Unla and Ugbo, road that was concerned by Olusegun Agagu. He has gone to Atijere Road, and you are talking about the Sabomi water reclamation, which is about to be commissioned now. So the governor has gone ahead to say, oh, well, no, dam has been awarded now. And 5 dams have been awarded in the state for continuation for being revamped. And the governor is talking about industry. There is chocolate industry in Indori. So where you have raw material, it will be there. What we're having already now is that there is assemblage of trucks and tractors by the Chinese Linyin industrial people. And you are talking about a partnership between Ondo State government and the Linyin industrial municipal government in China. So the fact that Ondo State owns the land is our industry. And the partnership agreement gives Nigerians at 40% to 1 ratio on employment of labor. And the governor is a Greek youth in a Greek scheme. He has released over 1.6 billion to the youths in the state to power the Greek scheme. And you are talking about a governor that has released over 200 million naira for farmers in the state to grow their crops and, harvest better to the economy of the state. This was a governor that met the IGR of the state on 700 million naira. He has risen it now to 2 billion monthly. So the governor receives 4 billion from the federal allocation monthly. So compared to the previous administration that got him between 12 billion and above. So what they had in a month was what the governor would get in 3 months. So he has been able to harness the IGRI venture by hiring Canadian experts to work into this. And his pay well, and the governor is ready to go on from that. So you live in under COVID-19, the governor is not knowing salaries. The previous governor owned a 7-month salary. The governor is paying. And where you have issues is addressing them scarcely. It's at home with workers in the state. Then they are happy. So the populace are happy. There is no insurrection, there is no massive violence in the state, has been said in some quarters. So we are saying that this is a governor that is
very, very
so the
passionate.
imperative of continuity of this governor is so pronounced across the state. The advantage is on the wall.
Indeed.
So he has the support of the APC at national level, the entire support leadership of APC in Ondo State, and across the grassroots level. So the governor is good to go on.
You're very passionate about Ondo State. It's good to have had you with us, Barrister YEMI Adetoyinbo.
I'm Ondo State person.
Indeed, yourself. That's why I said you're very passionate about your state. APC Chieftain and member APC Publicity Committee, thank you for joining us on Newsday.